Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Ian Haslam. Thank you for joining us this Friday evening. Our top story, 60 years of hurts, a memorial garden to the babies of unmarried mothers in Kendal who were taken away and buried.
I'm going to fight for you. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm going to do something, and I think she'll be proud of me now.
It also honours other families who've suffered baby loss and follows a campaign first reported on this programme. Also tonight, Elsie Stankham died in the Southport terror attack. Now her head teachers are preparing to skydive for her charity.
Terrible things happened, but out of terrible things comes a lot of kindness, and people have been kind to us, you know, and we are trying to be kind to other people through Elsie's story.
100,000 music lovers converge on Liverpool's Sefton Park for Radio 1's big weekend. And a wander around a world in bloom, it's Manchester's Free Flower Festival.
Celebrating Manchester, but also cities like Paris, Osaka. It'll feel like you're walking around the whole world in a day.
And a glorious end to what has been an incredibly dry and warm spring. Change is coming tonight. Do join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
A memorial to dozens of babies buried in an unmarked grave in Cumbria has been officially unveiled in Kendal. They died after being born at St Monica's, a Church of England home for unmarried mothers that closed in 1970. After North West Tonight exposed allegations of mistreatment there, the Diocese of Carlisle apologised. Stephen Hindley has been campaigning for the babies' lives and death to be acknowledged since his wife, who was sent to St Monica's, took her own life. Kelly Foran was at the service.
In memory of those we carried but never met, those we held but couldn't take home.
We are remembering here today
babies who never had a grave, but now do have a memorial.
who may not have names which are written on stone, but have names which are written very deeply on our hearts.
Born at St Monica's, a place that should have been a sanctuary, but instead became a place of pain. For many girls, including Judy, who was sent there as unmarried teenagers to have their babies in secret and send them for adoption. Her baby Stephen and others who were born disabled were left to die.
I can't imagine the suffering the little boy had. And Judy wasn't allowed to touch him at all until his last dying hour, when Judy was allowed to nurse her own baby and watch him die in her arms. And very quickly a death certificate was produced. Very quickly they were sent down here, and Stephen was put in an unmarked grave, covered up.
You can see there are no headstones where baby Stephen and dozens of others were buried, but now just across the pathway there is finally recognition that they did exist. At the service today were other relatives of women affected. Bob was 65 when his mother told him she was raped as a teenager, sent to St Monica's and had a stillborn baby. But he's since found records that show that baby Faith lived for 12 hours.
We stood and put some flowers there earlier, and I just cried because I thought, would she be proud of me?
Your mum would be proud, very proud of you.
Yeah.
But it's so sad that you had to do that, because Faith was your sister.
Yeah.
Sister that you never knew and you never will, you know.
The acting Bishop of Carlisle led today's service.
When I first heard the stories from St Monica's, I was really shocked. And even though it was over 50 years ago that it closed, that didn't make what happened right. It was absolutely wrong.
Stephen had been telling people for years what happened to Judy that eventually led to her suicide, and says no one listened until...
I was generally speaking told, no, not interested or whatever, but I didn't stop. And eventually I spoke to a certain Roger Johnson.
This programme then investigated and found at least 45 babies from St Monica's had been buried here. Today, Stephen wanted to give them the dignity they were all denied. What would you say to Judy today?
When I had that awful visit in the mortuary, and I was left with you, and I said how much I love you, love. I'm going to fight for you. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm going to do something, and I think she'll be proud of me now.
She would. And you've done it.
I've done it, yeah. Can't believe it.
Kelly Foran, BBC North West Tonight in Kendal.
Such a great thing to do, isn't it? Well, it's now 3 weeks since Reform took control of Lancashire County Council, winning 51 seats from the other parties. Now, since then, the BBC's political correspondent, Alex Forsyth, has been following the party's progress as it's faced protests outside County Hall and opposition inside. Here's her report.
One of the first jobs was a meeting of Reform's councillors to choose a new leader. Like many councils, Lancashire has faced budget pressures, with growing demand for adults and children's services in particular, so it won't be an easy job.
So I'm told they've selected their new leader and we're allowed to nip in and meet them. Hello.
The man in charge used to be a Conservative running a nearby district council until he switched to Reform.
It's a big change for Lancashire. What are you hoping to achieve?
What we're going to do is look at every line in the budget, and if it helps residents, we'll keep it or improve it. If it doesn't help residents, we'll start asking serious questions about it.
Refugees are welcome here. It's clear not everyone's happy at the political shift here.
One of the messages that's really important today is to say refugees are welcome here.
There were protests outside the first full council meeting, including concern about messages from Reform about cutting what they call waste.
That means cost cutting. We know that it means jobs.
Inside, we caught up with the council leader.
Do you think there are going to be savings to be found, given the pressure we know that lots of councils, including Lancashire, have said that their budgets are already under?
The advantage of Reform is it's a fresh pair of eyes. We have 53 councillors, of which 50 are new councillors. They bring that, you know, they can see the wood for the trees.
What would you say, though, to the people that might be worried about cuts?
Well, if it affects residents, I've just said we'll try not to do it. It's some of the other things that don't affect residents. But this is all conditional on the spending review in June. I hope the government will treat Reform councils fairly.
You've just appointed your cabinet. There aren't any women in it.
Absolutely. But we will have cabinet members based on the required skills and the required ability. But I'm sure some of the ladies in our group will eventually be part of cabinet.
The Reform bloc far outnumbers the other parties now. Their opponents say they'll hold their feet to the fire.
Our electorate expect us to hold Reform to account.
The Conservatives, who used to be in charge here, are now watching on.
Everybody's looking for what their vision is, what their plan is. Businesses will be sat waiting and wondering, especially those in maybe the clean energy sector or the renewable sector, wondering, is Lancashire a place where I can still invest my money?
It is early days, but councils like this, where Reform now holds power, will be seen as a measure of whether the party can deliver.
The BBC's political correspondent Alex Forsyth with that report. OK, let's take a look at some of today's other news from around the region now. And the body of a bomb disposal specialist who was killed in Ukraine has been repatriated to the Isle of Man. Chris Garrett died in an incident in the east of the country on May the 6th. Manx and Ukrainian flags lined the streets as he was met with a guard of honour and escorted home to Peel by a cavalcade. Manchester United are set to cut around 200 jobs in the second round of redundancies since Sir Jim Ratcliffe bought into the club last year. It's understood that the sports science, medical and scouting departments could all be affected. Two head teachers from Southport are preparing to take a parachute jump to raise money for the charity set up to remember one of the victims of last year's stabbings. Elsie Stankham was 7 when Axel Rudakabana murdered her and 2 other girls last July. Her parents set up a charity called Elsie's Story. The head teachers will jump out of a plane at 15,000 feet. Our Merseyside reporter Andy Gill has been to meet them.
When you meet people preparing to jump out of a plane at 15,000 feet and free fall for a full minute, there's only one question to start with.
First question. How are you both with heights?
I don't think I'll know that until I've actually coming out of the plane. I think what I'm banking on is that it's a tandem jump and somebody will be there so I can close my eyes and somebody will ease me out of the plane.
And I'm probably more anxious than you. This was definitely Jenny's bucket list and not mine, but you just need to do things to push yourself and do things that are a bit scary.
Jenny Sefton was the head of Elsie's infant school when the 7-year-old was killed. How did what happened affect you as an individual and the school?
We were devastated. It was, yeah, probably the worst day that we've ever had. You don't think that you're ever going to deal with something that's so dramatic and is going to break so many hearts.
Elsie was due to go into Adrian Antell's junior school after last year's summer break.
Every child has dealt with this differently. Some days are good and some days are less good, and every child needs different things. So clearly we've put support in place where it's required.
The day before the skydive, children at Elsie's school will be raising money while being allowed to break school rules for one day in a long and continuing process of grieving and healing.
It's a huge piece of fun, let's be fair. When we both told our respective schools it was happening, the children were beside themselves with excitement. The idea of your head teacher jumping out of a plane, you know, that doesn't happen every day. It's really important to find positive things. You know, what we've tried to say consistently is terrible things happened, but out of terrible things comes a lot of kindness, and people have been kind to us, you know, and we are trying to be kind to other people through Elsie's story as well. Kindness does win through.
The skydive is due to happen on June the 21st at a skydiving club in Lancashire. Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Southport.
Good luck to them. What a challenge that is. Now, as we all know, Liverpool is world famous for its music, so it seems as good a choice as any to host Radio 1's big weekend over the next 3 days. Around 100,000 music fans will be treated to more than 100 acts with headliners, including Stockport's Blossoms, Sugar Babes from the 2000s, along with Natasha Bedingfield, who's had a career resurgence of late, and Sam Fender, a sort of 21st century Jimmy Nail. Headlining for us at Sefton Park tonight is Anna Jameson. Here she is.
Not quite the same vocals as a 21st century Jimmy Nail, but nevertheless, here I am. Behind me is the Radio 1 studio where the presenters are broadcasting live on air right now. But if you come with me down here, this is where the real party is starting. I'm sorry, it's so loud. Somebody called DJ James Hype is hyping it up, giving it the ones and twos. I've never heard of him, but people here are certainly enjoying him. They've already enjoyed Natasha Bedingfield, Tom Grennan. Tonight, Biffy Clyro will be headlining, and it's been a pretty glorious start to day one at Radio 1's big weekend. 4 stages, 100 artists, 100,000 people.
And that's it, it has officially started. People have arrived at Sefton Park for the 3-day Radio 1 Big Weekends. Woo! Who are you looking forward to seeing?
I didn't even know it was on. Being really honest, I didn't know it was on. I'm here for the laugh.
They may not know, but plenty of others have come to see their favourite artists. One in particular.
Sam Fender.
Sam Fender.
Sam Fender.
He's headlining tomorrow, but tonight it's all about Tom Grennan.
It's taking me higher.
And Liverpool's The Wombats.
It is a full circle moment. I don't think we've ever done any festivals in Sefton Park. And Liverpool hasn't had that many, bandy festivals. My school was just round the corner. Used to go running around Sefton Park as a kid. Lots of memories, yeah.
Drinking cider on a park bench.
Yeah, there was probably a little bit of that.
Hey! The festival is expected to bring £7 million in for Liverpool's economy.
Liverpool was such an easy one because of the amazing musical heritage, and I think when you're Radio 1 and you focus on young audiences, there are 4 universities here. There is so much music talent that we kind of wanted to give young audiences from the city a bit of a leg up and a bit of a spotlight.
The BBC introducing stage is being taken over completely by artists from Merseyside, and the new talent doesn't stop at music.
Now, we just bumped into Hannah Riley, who's been selected for BBC Radio Merseyside's talent search, and you've been chosen.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Like this time last week, I only found out about it. I was on the breakfast show in the morning, and now I'm here. I only live down the road. I had my rollers in half an hour ago. I was like, I've got tickets for the Friday to the Sunday, and tomorrow I'm going to be hosting around with BBC Radio Merseyside. I can't wait. Look, it's great.
She's excited, but there is an air of trepidation. Have you packed a poncho for later?
I have packed a poncho. I actually didn't own a rain jacket until 2 days ago, and I went out and bought one just for this. I've actually been to enough festivals where I'm like, I know it can get real muddy real fast. So what I didn't do was get any wellies. And I've got suede shoes, so...
spare ones in my
have you
boots.
actually?
Yeah, what size
You
are
got boots in your boots?
I do.
Fantastic, all right.
What size are you?
I'm a size 7 or 8.
Could you squeeze into a 5?
I don't know, well, if I cut the toes off, maybe, yeah.
That's not going to put off anyone here. So it's been a pretty good day already. With me now is Bolton's finest Radio 1 presenter, Vicky Hawksworth. Hello, Vicky.
Hi, it's so exciting to be on with you. Thank you for coming to our big weekend as well.
It's ace that this is in the Northwest, isn't it?
It's incredible. We love big weekend wherever it is, but obviously I love the North, big advocate of the North, and it's so exciting that people from Liverpool, from the surrounding areas, can come and just be part of this because it's just so good.
Now, this DJ right now, very loud, but you played on the main stage before. How was it?
It was incredible. I mean, it's not something I'd imagined. I always wanted to be a little radio presenter in my studio, and now I'm on this big stage, which is incredible. And the crowd are so receptive. And then we brought on Natasha Bedingfield, and her vocals are incredible. If you've not seen her, get it on the iPlayer and then book some tickets to go and see her. I'm not getting paid commission or anything, but she is fabulous.
Will you and Natasha Bedingfield get a room, please?
I would love to if she's down.
All right, OK, well, as Vicky just said, you can watch it on the BBC iPlayer, streaming on 3 channels, and of course, live on BBC Radio 1 all weekend. Ian, surely I've tempted you. Come on, come down with the kids.
Thank you very much, Anna. No, I'm not tempted right now, but too old for that. Anyway, it's job swap night on the programme tonight. I'm being Roger/Annabelle, as you may well have noticed, while over by the Sport Tower, being me, is Julia Bold. And Julia, your return coincides with a momentous weekend for Liverpool, and last night, some personal glory for Mohamed Salah.
Yes, and his boss is tipping in for some more as well, because Arne Slot has claimed if there was ever a chance for Mo Salah to win the Ballon d'Or, then it would be this season. Last night he collected the Football Writers Association's Footballer of the Year award from Reds legend Ian Rush, becoming the joint record holder for the most wins.
These moments will be one of the most special moments in your life, professional-wise maybe the most special moment. It's going to be a moment that I will cherish for the rest of my life.
Of course, when Liverpool last won the title in 2020 after a 30-year wait, celebrations were restricted because of COVID, but not this time, when hundreds of thousands will line the city's streets. Stuart Pollard has been to see what it means to some lifelong supporters.
I have never seen Liverpool in front of me lift that Premier League title. It feels like Christmas Eve.
And feel all the feelings that I think a lot of people have had bottled up for a long old time.
But Paisley and Bill Shankly, the fields of Anfield Road.
I'm 94 next week. It really is one.
Exploded. The passion has just been phenomenal. It's not something I've ever seen before.
Tell me then, how long have you been going to Anfield?
80 years. 80 years. I was only 14 then, and I've never stopped. I've never stopped. That's me with Phil Thompson. When I first went, there was only 9 women on the cop. There was no ladies' toilet. We had to ask the men to hold the door open if we wanted to go to the toilet. I love the atmosphere. Well done. You've kept me happy.
My first game, I remember it well. It was January 1961. My dad put me in the boys' pen, left me to it, and I just fell in love with it.
I reckon that was around 92. Me and my dad were revisiting the 1990 title win. We were there. I was 7 years old at the time, and it's done with so little fanfare. Alan Hansen basically lifts the trophy up, shows it round, and then they crack on. Very, very different now from when I was 7 years old. I now know what it means. We all know what it means.
It means everything. I mean, it was brilliant to win the title in 2020. Not being able to, to celebrate it with people, not being in the ground and seeing us lift the trophy, all that was sort of stolen away.
Liverpool is literally my entire life. It's what I'm painting of a day, I'm talking about football, and it's all I care about. I'm thinking towards that next game every single day. I've been working on like unity pieces of the crowd and the players, and just that sort of connection that we've all had together this season. Just getting to be with your loved ones in that moment. That feeling when we won the league against Spurs, me and my dad just give each other that look of, I can't believe we've actually done it.
The beauty of the football club is it doesn't go anywhere. It's handed down from generation to generation, and there is a real beauty in the fact that, there's going to be grandparents and fathers and sons and daughters in the crowd there who will have that.
Well, the parade along a 10-mile route is due to start at 2:30 on Monday afternoon at Allerton Maze, finishing at Blundell Street. Also this weekend, Manchester City will confirm a Champions League place with a win at Fulham. Everton are away at Newcastle, while Manchester United's miserable season will end at home to Aston Villa. And Lancashire are bottom of cricket's county championship Division 2, and it hasn't been the best of days at leaders Leicestershire. Lancashire were bowled out for 206 in their first innings, with this the wicket of Will Williams, the last one to go. A few moments ago, Leicestershire had reached 59 for 2 at the close of play.
Excellent stuff, Julia. And just like that, the studio's been transformed into a floral paradise, if you will. And that's because if you're heading into Manchester City Centre this bank holiday weekend and you're into your flowers, then you might just be in luck.
The streets are filled with beautiful blooms and installations as part of the city's Flower Festival. Davinia Ramos went down to have a look for us.
Fabulous flowers in Manchester. The city is blooming thanks to this year's Flower Festival.
We take over the city streets and we had fabulous, wonderful floral displays celebrating Manchester, but also cities like Paris, Osaka, Mumbai, Marrakesh. So it'll feel like you're walking around the whole world in a day.
It's the 8th year it's been running, and there are 9 displays that can be found across a trail, and some have taken several hours to put together.
We've done on Mumbai based upon all the great colours and all the fantastic things that go on there. The elephant took probably about 8 hours to make, and there's a good couple of thousand sort of flowers in that as well. So yeah, it's nice to see the reward when people like what you've done.
Most of the designs are created to inspire people living in Manchester, whether they have a huge garden or a little patio.
We've literally got the wood from a scrap yard for free, for example, so you can really do it on a budget. A lot of the plants, they come from very sort of common garden centres, but they're all sort of been on offer because, low budgets and all that.
We've just been lucky enough to chat to the cloud gardener, and I've seen this amazing foxglove and hosta. I would never have thought of putting those two plants together.
The thing is, it doesn't matter what size garden you've got either, because you could get big ideas or just for a tiny patio. It's fab.
The event is completely free and runs throughout the bank holiday weekend, and you're really in for a very rosy treat. Davinia Ramos, BBC North West Tonight in Manchester.
From flowers to an English rose. It's Kay with the weather.
Nice. And sadly, not with the best news. Although, if you're like me and you need the rain for the garden because it's drying out, then this weekend is for you. We did have a lovely day today, though. All good things do come to an end. Thank you for sending your photographs in. It is, of course, half-term today for the children, and it's a bank holiday weekend, so rain is in the forecast, but much needed. We've got overnight rain that's going to clear through tonight. It's going to be not too bad tomorrow, quite cloudy. It'll be breezy. There will be some showers, more especially later on in the afternoon. It's going to turn cooler for Sunday, mixture of sunny spells, scattered showers, and a similar forecast for Bank Holiday Monday. So you can see low pressure is firmly in charge. We've got Atlantic fronts sweeping in. Note the isobars, we've not had it like that for a while, have we? So quite blustery conditions, and there will be showers or longer spells of rain, which is what we've already seen developing on the Isle of Man. And this front is going to sweep across all parts as we head through this evening. So if you're heading out, you'll need your brolly. Temperatures as we head overnight will be much milder than they were last night, still in double figures. And once that main frontal rain has gone through, scattered heavy showers to end the second half of the night. So early doors tomorrow morning, yeah, you could well wake up with some showers around, but these will push through. Now, it's going to be quite a cloudy morning, but we are going to see it breaking, that cloud. Some bright and sunny spells, and actually a good deal of us throughout the middle of the day will be dry, but we start to get showers pushing up from the south and to the north as well. Top temperatures tomorrow still getting to about 19 or 20, but it's going to be much cooler on Sunday. Sunny spells throughout the morning, scattered showers start to come through, the winds will freshen. We are looking at the risk of gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour for coastal parts, and it will be much cooler. Note the temperatures 13 to 15 degrees. Sunny spells, scattered showers at first Bank Holiday Monday, then it's going to cloud over and it will stay unsettled, at least for the first half of the week.
You and your showers, you're ruining people's weekends here, Kay.
No, I'm delighted. I'm in that garden with a hose pipe 24/7. I'm going to put my feet up this weekend.
It never stops for you. The producer just said I'm like a rose between two thorns here.
Absolutely not.
To continue the floral thing, I'm back with the late news at 10:30. But from all of us, Gillian and Kay, have a good weekend. Bye-bye.